Hey guys, welcome back to the New Nine Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Cubitt, and today we have a really special interview for you guys. It's actually more of a milestone. We got our first ever PGA Tour golfer on the show. This guy has a full status on the PGA Tour. Right now, he's battling some injuries, so he had some time to talk to us. He's going to get into his recovery process and what life on the tour is like, and maybe what some guys have been telling him with the new COVID protocols. Super excited. I'm very grateful for this guest to come on. I'd like to get into our interview right now with our PGA Tour pro, Billy Hurley III. So our next guest on the show is our first PGA Tour player. I'm so excited that a PGA Tour player had agreed to come on the podcast. He has wins on several tours and one major win on the PGA Tour. He's a graduate of the United States Naval Academy and is heavily involved in many charitable organizations. I'd like to welcome to the New Nine Podcast, Billy Hurley III. So Billy, thanks so much for joining the podcast.
Yeah, sure. Fun to be with you.
Where are we getting you from today? Are you at home? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm at home. We live in Annapolis, Maryland. So yeah, we're home today, and did a little bit of putting earlier this morning. Got to do a workout this afternoon. So you can keep me as long as you like. You're keeping me from a workout, so that's always good.
Fair enough. I appreciate it. It's been kind of an interesting year with so many things going on, obviously from COVID to a handful of other things. It's just been a weird year, 2020. You've been sidelined with injury. What's going on with your injury and how's kind of the rehab process going?
Yeah, I'm about 9 months post-surgery now. I had a herniated disc in my low back, right around my belt line, L5, S1. And so the surgery went really well and rehab has been going really well. So just chipping away at it, slowly progressing each week, each month. You see little bit more progress, and so we're targeting January, February, kind of to return to competition at this point. The last thing to come back is just that last little bit of speed to hit it far enough to compete, and then just the stamina. It's amazing how much it takes out of you, just being sidelined for a couple months of now thinking about walking a course and playing 4 days in a row, playing 2-3 weeks in a row. It's that's the last piece to come back.
Do you have kind of a big team that's working with you on your rehab as far as doctors and physiotherapists?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, obviously I had a great surgeon in DC who did the surgery and then been doing, continued physical therapy. And then also with a physical therapist in Virginia, actually. She used to work with the Washington Nationals. And then there's also another doctor who's in kind of the regenerative sports medicine field to kind of do, so we've done some stem cell injections. We've done some PRP injections, and then I have my trainer who kind of we're just starting to re-engage on the more athletic training, transitioning out of the true rehab physical therapy mode into, some more workout and that kind of stuff mode. So, yeah.
If you were to say you're a battery and 100% is perfect, where would you say you are percentage wise as far as being close to 100?
Ooh, well, so if I weren't a professional golfer, I'd say I'm pretty close to 100. I can do normal life. I can kind of do all the household tasks, so to speak. As far as living life and that kind of stuff. But then when you frame it as being a professional golfer and as like I said, playing 2-3 weeks in a row, probably 50% from that being 100%. I think that just. Not because I think I have, another 9 months to go in that sense. I mean, I think that 50% will come faster, but in the sense of trying to play 3 weeks in a row seems like a long ways away at this point. So that's why I kind of put it maybe 50-60% from that being 100%.
Well, it's good to hear that you're trending in the right direction. So obviously we're hoping we can get you on tour as soon as possible here.
Yeah, thanks. Looking forward to competing again soon.
I mentioned briefly COVID. What have you heard about life on the PGA Tour since COVID, and are the players getting along okay with the new procedures?
Yeah, I think the PGA Tour did a really good job of thinking through all the things that could be thought through. it's a little tricky on tour because we're not employees of the tour, right? We're independent contractors who play tournaments that are run by the PGA Tour, and that nuance versus other team sports where they actually are employees of the team and have a quote boss that is the coach, GM, owner of the team on up kind of thing. So there's, but from everything I hear, it's going well. I mean, obviously the positive cases have been not very high. I think everybody's on tours doing the right thing, and it's certainly not a perfect bubble in any sense. But for what we do, moving throughout the country and into different markets and different states and all that kind of stuff, I think that it's gone really, really well. And I think that's a testament to both the plan that the tour put in place, and then also the players for continuing to, do the right thing and kind of, do the quote safer at home kind of mentality, even when you're on the road. Right. So, and caddies and managers and all that stuff, so life looks very, very different, especially with not as many people around and not as many no fans and limited volunteers and all that kind of stuff. But overall, I got to imagine viewership is up on TV. And so that's, you're still getting the fans that way.
That's what was so great about the PGA Tour, implementing procedures early on that for the longest time, it was the only professional sport we could watch. So if you loved golf, it was great. And if you didn't, maybe it got some more people into the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was funny. Quick funny story on that. My 11-year-old son had like a kind of a Zoom, meeting with his teacher, to meeting with his teacher. And they were kind of talking about, the whole class was talking about things they've missed or things they've been doing or whatever. And one of his classmates mentioned sports and how happy she was to have sports back and watch some baseball and all that kind of stuff. And the teacher, I'm standing in the kitchen listening to my son, from the other side of the computer, can't be seen. And the teacher goes, "Oh, I know. I'm so happy to have sports back. Like, I mean, I even found myself watching golf. I mean, it's just so boring, but I just wanted some sport to watch." And I mean, it was hilarious. I was dying laughing on the other side of the computer as the teacher has, obviously no idea what one of his students' dad does for a living, but it was pretty funny.
That's funny. One of those foot and mouth moments, eh?
Yeah, exactly. But exactly to your point, more people I think were watching that hadn't watched before.
Oh yeah. Even playing, like in Canada where we are, golf courses was one of the first public things to open. That right. Where I play, the tee sheet has never been more full. That it's so hard to get a tee time because there's nothing else to do and people are taking up the game, and the people that were traveling are obviously at home playing. So I think golf is in good shape with COVID. I think some positives come from negatives for sure.
Sure.
In 2016, you got your first PGA Tour win at the Quicken Loans National. And at the time, that was Tiger's tournament. What do you remember from that week when you got your win?
Oh, wow. That was, it was a special week for sure, obviously. That kind of goes without saying. But I think that I remember, kind of to your in a sense to your like new nine idea, I played my first 5 or 6 holes of the tournament, one over. And, I might even, I think I made 2 bogeys and a birdie and kind of just, wasn't playing real well to start the tournament. But I remember just telling myself, we got to keep giving yourself chances and, okay, you're on one of the hardest holes on the course now. So it's not the time to take a chance, and that kind of thing, just steady along. And I started on the back 9 on Thursday. So I think I birdied 17, 18 and 1. And that got me like under par, and kind of then I made a couple more birdies and shot, I think 4 under on for the first day or something like that. But it was kind of, I'm standing there on the 8th tee of the first day, 1 over par, and you're kind of like, this is not gonna, what's going on, and I felt like I was playing well going into it and whatever, but just that, kind of that attitude of, keep plugging away, keep doing the right things, keep in the process and all that stuff. Really, I was able to do that and was able to then kind of catapult into making 3 birdies in a row and into starting off with a good score, 4 under par for the week, and just was able to continue that momentum all through the rest of the tournament. And then obviously to have Tiger Woods hand you a trophy is pretty special.
I can't imagine anyone else would want to hand me a trophy after my first win than Tiger Woods. That is so cool. There was a chip that you hit on the final day. I think it was hole 16 that you chipped in. Is that the best shot you've ever hit on tour?
Oh, certainly the best result. Certainly the loudest roar I've ever heard. All that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, it's probably fair to say. It's kind of the shot that made the win, so to speak. I had a 1-shot lead at that point. It was on 15, and so I had a 1-shot lead, and I was kind of just clinging to that. I wasn't really like anything special or exciting was happening. I was making a lot of pars, but it wasn't really, taking the lead, so to speak. I had the lead, but and I was in a spot where you were literally just trying to make par. I mean, I was in a bad spot. I was in a bad spot off the tee. I hit a good shot to recover from there, but I was still in like it was not like, oh, you're thinking about, wasn't even thinking about getting it that close. I was thinking about trying to keep it inside like 6 feet somewhere in there and make a putt for par. Obviously I hit a great shot, and then certainly got fortunate that it hit the middle of the flagstick and, didn't rattle out, it rattled down, and definitely the loudest roar I've ever heard on a golf course.
We were talking about Tiger briefly here before. I wouldn't be a golf podcast if I didn't ask a Tiger question. Do you have much of a relationship with Tiger, or what's it like being involved with him on tour?
Yeah, I mean, he knows who I am. I've played a practice round with him. Obviously, we spent a little bit of time together here and there. I've played, done some stuff for his foundation, and that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, that's about the extent of it. I mean, if I went up to him and asked to talk to him, he would do that. He would take time to do that. But I don't have a cell phone number. I'm not, heading down to Florida to play a practice round at Medalist or wherever with him. So he's definitely changed, from when I first was out on tour. And honestly, I mean, being a father myself, I think that him becoming a father is what made that change. And he's kind of in golf for a little bit different reason than he was. Now he wants to show his kids, how good he is, and kind of have them be more a part of it and that kind of stuff, versus when he was, first out and, 2000 and all that stretch of, kind of really 97 to 2008. I don't think he thought about much else other than winning golf tournaments.
Yeah, he was really out for blood. And I think us as viewers, we can tell that his perspective has changed, and he seems a little more approachable, maybe sometimes in his interviews than before. So are there any other guys on tour that you would say now are kind of under the microscope, similar to how Tiger was? Is there guys like Rory or Bryson, or is there any guys that can meet a comparable to Tiger? Well, there's only one Tiger, so that's obviously hard to answer.
There's only one Tiger. I mean, Tiger's the greatest player to ever play the game. I don't think there's obviously, with all due respect to Mr. Nicklaus, who obviously has the, tremendous record himself. I think, what Tiger's done is slightly eclipses that. So, I mean, there's only one of those. I mean, there's a noticeable difference if Tiger's at a tournament versus Tiger not being at a tournament. It'll be that way till he stops playing.
Well, that's good to know. When you joined, or when you got onto the PGA Tour, were there some players that kind of took you under their wing and kind of showed you the ropes as far as what life on tour was like?
Yeah, I definitely had a couple of, guys who looked after me. One of the guys that I first met when I was kind of in the process of turning pro was Dickie Pride. And, Dickie had been out there for a number of years at that point. I mean, he'd been out there for probably close to 20 years when I first got out there. and we've remained friends to this day, and still, kind of catch up with each other when I'm down in Orlando where he lives. And then also, when I first got out, Frank Licklider was kind of at the height of his career, and Frank's a big military guy, loves the military, and so we kind of latched together on that. Certainly, Frank is an interesting guy, but at the end of the day, he is a big teddy bear. He just doesn't want anybody to know that. And but he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot of short game stuff. Actually, we worked a lot together on some short game stuff, and that was, really really important to learn how to do a couple of things a little bit better, to play the courses that are firmer, faster, thicker rough, all that kind of stuff.
You mentioned the military. You're obviously a naval grad. I'm interested a little bit in your naval experience and working for the Navy. What kind of got you into there? And then how did you transition out of the Navy into golf?
Yeah, when I was in high school, I first got interested in the academy and just kind of wanted to go to the Naval Academy. I got a tour of the Naval Academy when I was maybe 14 years old or so, after my freshman year of high school. And from that moment forward, it was kind of hook, line, and sinker. That's what I want to do. That's where I want to go to school. And so, went to the Naval Academy for college. And, for the Canadian listener, that incurs a 5-year, service requirement in the U.S. Navy. And so had that to do kind of after college, so to speak. And so, had to pause the golf thing for a little bit to do that. But that's kind of how I got interested. For me, it was, I wanted to go to the Naval Academy, and then, obviously that leads you into being active duty in the Navy after graduation. So that was the journey for me in the Navy.
Well, thank you for your service. Obviously, being Canadian, we know how important the military is worldwide. So I think without our partnership, we do appreciate your service. How did you transition going from the Navy then back to the PGA Tour?
Slowly, I think is the answer. I spent the last 5 months or so of my active duty time actually deployed. My last ship was in Hawaii, and so I spent. We went from Hawaii. We went west and went into Southeast Asia. Went into the kind of the Horn of Africa, the Red Sea, all that area. Past the Indian Ocean and everything into the Middle East. And so that was the last 5 months of being in the Navy. So I didn't really play golf at all. And, it's from there, I got out of the Navy and just started chipping back away at golf, and just started trying to get back into it, trying to do all the right things, working on my swing, working on my putting, working on, all the different facets, chipping, bunker play, et cetera, et cetera. And the pieces came back, but then putting the whole thing together and playing a competitive round of golf took a while to really, recapture that flow and the essence of playing and the essence of dealing with both successes and failures throughout the course of a round of golf, dealing with making 3 birdies in a row and feeling great about yourself, and making a double bogey and feeling crummy about yourself. And how do you respond to all those different things? And that was probably the hardest piece of coming back. And it was just getting that whole, finishing 18 holes, putting 18 good holes together and creating a good score.
I'm sure there's someone listening that thinks they maybe want to be a PGA Tour pro or a pro golfer. It's one thing to shoot 1 or 2 under par at your home course, 1 every 10 rounds. How good do you have to shoot to have a serious look at going pro?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that, you've got to be, oh, wow. I think you've got to be pushing +4, from a handicap perspective, to think about it. Obviously if you're +2 and getting better, or whatever, but I play with my, friends who are, between +1 and 1 handicaps. And sometimes I look at those guys and go, y'all are clueless. And it's not a knock on them, right? But it's just, that's how much better tour golf is. I mean, it's really, the guy, probably if you did the guy winning each week for that, if you just handicap those 4 days, he's probably like a +8 or a +10, and now that's the guy who wins, right? So that's not the average. That's not how a handicap would actually work, right? But, I mean, it's just by the nature of everything, right? I mean, every level you go up in whatever, right? The pitchers are faster every place you go. The running backs, are faster. The linebackers hit harder. The basketball players are taller. I mean, like just every step you go, all that stuff gets bigger, better, faster, and golf's no different. And then, I mean, I think one of the hardest things about playing professional golf is that you end up playing courses that don't exist. I mean, like, obviously you can go play Torrey Pines, and you can go play Bay Hill, and you can go play Harbor Town, and you can go play all the places we play, but you don't play them as firm, as fast, with as thick a rough as we play them, and that's can be a tough transition as well. But I think that, the great thing about golf is that there's really no ceiling. Right. You can be as good as you can be and as good as you want to be. And that's what makes it fun. I mean, that's still what I'm back at it, trying to be as good as I can be again, from coming back from injury. And so, the other thing I've learned about golf as far as like players trying to make it is there's no such thing as a sure thing. And there's no such thing as a never will. You can't count anybody out. People would have counted Zach Johnson out, long before he ever got started. And then there's every other story of, NCAA champions who never make it to the tour kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's just, it's a funny game in that way.
I put out an Instagram poll up yesterday on my feed just to see the percentage of people that have broken 100, broken 80, broken 70. No one broke the 60s. Have you ever broken the 60s?
I've shot 58 one time.
Wow. Was it on, was it a tournament round or where was it?
No, it wasn't a tournament round. My lowest tournament round would be 61. I shot, it was just a round Friday afternoon with the boys at the Naval Academy golf course, and kind of just got it going.
Did you have any bogeys?
No, I didn't have any bogeys. I think I just had 13 birdies.
Wow, just 13 birdies. Okay, those kids listening, you want to go pro, 13 birdies. That's the new benchmark. In 2017, you got your ticket to the Masters. What was it like playing Augusta?
The Masters is a special tournament. I think, the U.S. Open and the Masters, like those are the two for United States kids growing up that you kind of are kind of the top two. And playing Augusta, playing the Masters was definitely a special thing to do. And just honestly wish I would have made the cut, but that's another separate story. So, that's golf for you. I went on to play some really good tournaments in the weeks following it, and I just couldn't quite piece it together, and probably some rookie mistakes, kind of rookie Masters mistakes, so to speak. It's a demanding golf course that if you're doing the right things, you can make a lot of birdies, and if you're doing the wrong things, you're struggling to make pars.
Is it as hard as they say to get on? Like, you as a PGA Tour pro, could you call someone up and get onto Augusta, or would that even be a stretch?
I mean, I know a couple of members, so I mean, yes, in that sense, but not really without personally knowing a member.
Wow. I was looking at I was trying to look up what's in your bag, and it looked like you kind of had a hodgepodge of clubs. I'm interested how that selection goes to set up your club selection.
Yeah, a good bit ago, I guess it was probably 2013. So starting the 2014 season, my club contract didn't get renewed. And so I kind of looked around, and essentially the money that I was being offered as kind of a low level tour player wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth not playing. It wasn't worth not feeling 100% comfortable, or it wasn't it just wasn't worth it. I made the decision that I'm going to make more money playing good golf than I am getting paid to play any certain equipment. So I basically starting that year, just went out and found what I thought was the best for my game, and that's kind of what I've been doing for 6 years now. I don't get paid to play anything that's in my golf bag right now.
Wow.
And so that just kind of, and more guys are doing that, right? I mean, I think that as kind of the last 5 years of golf, some of that club money has started to dry up a little bit. And I don't know, does that swing back? There's kind of a pendulum and all that kind of stuff. But right now you're seeing a lot of guys doing getting paid to play one or two clubs, or getting paid just to play the ball, or whatever. But I just made the decision that I'm going to make more money. It's going to be better and more advantageous for me to play good golf than to get paid to play any one set of equipment.
I'm really interested only because you brought it up. And if you don't want to answer, I can edit this out. Could you throw out a ballpark dollar figure that a club manufacturer would offer someone and that you would have to turn down to play a mixed bag?
So I think I was offered like 100 or 125 back then. And, obviously not insignificant money, but when you're playing for, $1 million first prize a week, it's kind of more important to play good golf. So, if you add up those, strokes over the course of the year, hindsight, right, it turned out well. I actually had a good year in 2014, and and then 2015 was okay, and I won in 2016. So it kind of just ended up working out. Would I have liked to have gotten paid to play what I wanted to play? Yeah, those companies just weren't offering contracts at the time.
Golf's one of those funny sports that you can't look into what endorsement deals are. It's kind of just a big secret. What do you think the ceiling would be for a top 5 player playing under one of the biggest brands? What do you think they're getting as far as an endorsement deal?
Oh, that's a great question. I think Rory had that 250 million thing with Nike for 10 years. So he was getting the 25 a year for Nike. I would say you're probably talking top 5 guy in the world, probably like 10 million.
Wow. Well, keep trying to get those 13 birdies.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I got to go work on my game to try and get back.
Fair enough. I won't keep you much longer. A couple more questions.
No, I'm just kidding.
What's the best day you ever had on the golf course?
Oh, best day I ever had. I mean, so, you have to put winning, Sunday of Congressional up there. You have to, we talked about the 58, so you kind of have to put that up there. There were some great days in college, winning Army Navy matches, and kind of that team thing, we at the Naval Academy, we play Army, we play them a couple times a year, but we play like one, dual match that's just Army versus Navy, and it's we play match play, and so there were some great days in that. There was some great day. I remember playing Augusta with my brother. Prior to the Masters, we were able to go and fortunate enough that to find a member that would allow me to bring my brother as well, not just me, and so. That was certainly a special day.
That's a good.
Yeah, there's so many of them. To pick one is hard.
That's fair. What's the worst day you ever had on the golf course?
Oh, well, maybe not on the golf course, but missing the cut at the Masters. Like that evening was the worst evening of golf that I think I've ever felt. That one stung.
Well, you still got chance. There's still time to get back there.
Get back. That's right.
Can you think of a new 9 that you had on the golf course? Maybe other than your win, there was a couple of bogeys, slow start, and then you're able to turn it around. Have you had any, like 40, 30s kind of scoring out there?
I don't think I've had anything like that on tour. Maybe some 37, 31 kind of, things. I've never really trying to think, since I've been playing on tour anyway, I've never really added up, 9-hole scores, right? It's never really been, but so I've never really broken it in those like 9 kind of ways. But that said, there's definitely, times that maybe it's on the 6th hole or maybe it's on the 16th hole or wherever, where you kind of like that switch kind of flips and you just figure it out and you just kind of tweak something and then you kind of press forward into that nice cruise control mode. That's a lot of fun to play golf when you find that mode. I remember one of the first glimpses I had at kind of just the idea of how we can kind of like how I would say how powerful our minds are and how powerful the idea of like positive thinking and forward thinking and all that stuff was in the Virginia State Amateur when I was in college. So this is got to be like 2001 or something like that. And on 16, I think I was all square or one up. I think I was one up. And I hit a really bad shot on the par 3 into the front left bunker, short-sided, like just in jail over there. And the guy I'm playing hit it to 30 feet right in the middle of the green, exactly what you're supposed to do, and I'm walking up to the green about halfway there, just beating myself up for how dumb this is to be over here in this bunker. And about halfway there, I don't even know why this happened or why I did this, but I kind of flipped the script and I said, well, just hold it. Let's just hold a bunker shot. Let's just hold a bunker shot. Let's go hold a bunker shot. Hold it. And I so for the next, 80 yards, that's what I said to myself is hold it, hold it, hold it. Walked up there, hold the bunker shot, 2 up, next hole, win 2 and 1. And, it's just kind of like, wow. That's how powerful things can be. And obviously, it doesn't work every time, and that's maybe what's maddening and frustrating about it. But it certainly gives you that better chance, of executing well if you have that, kind of positive mindset of like, all right, next shot, next shot, next shot.
That's so motivating. I'm going to try that the next time I'm out. Hole in one. We'll see how well that works. Billy, that's all the time that I have. That's all the questions that I have for you. I really do appreciate you coming on the podcast. You're my first PGA Tour player, so thank you so much for being my first PGA Tour player. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this interview, and thank you so much. What can I do to help plug anything that you're involved with?
Boy, it's a great question. We a couple years ago started our own foundation, the Billy Hurley III Foundation. So you can find about that at billyhurley3.com/foundation. And we aim to honor and serve military families, not just the person in the military, but the entire family unit, recognizing that it takes that whole unit to be operating well for our military to operate well. And so that's kind of what our focus has been. And that's kind of one of the things we're still trying to honor families. So we've got a virtual fundraiser coming up soon that I'll put out on my social media once we have all the details squared away. But so if you want to get involved and do a little something with us, we'd appreciate it.
Well, thanks again, Billy, for joining us. I really, it's some great stories that you had. I'm looking forward to releasing this. So thanks again for joining the podcast, and hopefully we can talk to you again.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Billy. Stay tuned. Check out our website, new9golf.com. See what hats are in stock and do your best to support the golf community. Thanks so much.